I'm going to check the stream to make sure the video's working and has sound with it, and it's all working with the thing. And I'm going to have to refresh the page, aren't I? Because it's not going to show up for me. There we go. Okay, and Dementia Radio now. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
We have Drew Jacobs with us!
Hey, Drew!
Good evening, gentlemen.
Coming to us from lovely upstate New York. At least I assume that's where you are.
Yes.
And we will have a pre-recorded interview with Joe J. Thomas coming up later in the show. Welcome to episode 803 of the Funny Music Podcast for Thursday, November 6th, 2025. Title of this week's episode is Marvelous Ponder, and your job is to work that into our conversation somehow. Because that's a dumb thing I came up with that we're still doing for some reason.
Just like this podcast itself.
Yep. 803 episodes. Did we mention that? 803. All right, then. So, let's
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's do the catch-up thingy.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Working! Today was my 12th consecutive day of having to work at my job.
Jeez, dude.
So the reason why that was because for some reason I don't understand, the U.S. Postal Service, whatever, their work weeks they start on Saturday and end on Friday. I have no idea why they do it that way. So, Kalani's friend's wedding was on a Saturday, and then at some point they asked me, well, because I have amongst my Tour 2 MHAs, because I was, one of the first two hired on, I had I have like the top seniority amongst them, so they asked me first, like, well, if you have to work every Saturday and Sunday, but if you could pick, Monday through Friday, which day you want to have your regular day off, what day would you want it to be? And I considered Thursday, and then I realized, oh wait, Friday probably makes more sense, because from the point of view of Kalani, she's going back to work, but she's, once things are kind of more back to normal, if she and I ever wanted to do something and she needed that it wouldn't require her needing a day off from work, it would be easier to probably pull it off if it was on a Friday. That plus the fact that, having the FuMPCast on Thursday night leading into Friday being a day off just feels right to me. So I said Friday. And then when I said that, it wasn't until later that I realized that that meant the next time I would, like the next calendar work week, the Friday wouldn't be until November 7th. So I had the first day off of one pay period work week, and then the last day off of the following pay period work week. That's how I ended up with 12 days in a row that I had to show up for work.
So you're going to be sleeping all day tomorrow, right?
Probably. So whatever, it's fine. But Halloween night, I was actually invited to a party. Some friends of mine that live in Pasadena, they every few years they have a Halloween party, and they invited me to show up. So me and Kalani went, and we were dressed as Emperor Kuzco and Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove, which we had been planning for a while, even before we knew for sure what we were going to do. Because, it just made the most sense. And Tony and Kit were there, along with Doggins and our friend Gabby and stuff, so it was just kind of nice to see them. Most of the party had planned on dressing as Lord of the Rings characters, so there was a whole big Lord of the Rings faction there. I still need to send them a link to my Feeling Like a Hobbit video, because Emily hadn't seen it or heard it yet, so I should send that to them. And I should point out that Tony was dressed as Nedry from Jurassic Park, the Wayne Knight character, the one who steals the embryos in the Barbasol can and tries to flee the island.
Yeah.
So I saw that costume when I was at Spirit Halloween, and I was like, wow, that's really hilarious that they made a costume for Nedry. And then I saw Tony wearing it. I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. Aside from that, I managed to work in a little bit of actually working on my animatic. Part of it was that there's this one particular scene, or part of a scene where there's where Deanna and Derek's having a conversation, and there's kind of the wide shot of both of them, and then there's a shot that kind of is her point, like looking at her face on her side of the conversation, and then his face and his side of the conversation. And I was trying to figure out to make sure like that I had that shot lined up in a way that made sense. And I had reached out to Ken Mitroni, the former storyboard director on Mighty Magiswords, to ask him, like, hey, could you look at this and tell me if you think, this shot is lined up right? This was a couple months ago. And he gave me some feedback, and I hadn't had the time to adjust my board based on his feedback until just the other day. So it's like I didn't get ahead as far as like a percentage-wise, but I went back and I fixed what I had done so far so that everything going forward is now lining up with what he suggested. And here, can I share my screen?
You should be able to.
It says sharing is not turned on.
Allow. There we go. Try it now.
So just because I don't want to. Dang, I wonder if I can if I do this, I don't want to completely give away what's going on in this scene. Dang it! What the heck? There, that'll work. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen because I did this drawing of Deanne that I really love. So this is a FuMPCast exclusive. If I can share just this screen, and I'll keep talking so that you see it. And there it is. I love that expression on her face that I came up with. So yeah, you can wonder what's going on with that. But I didn't want to post it publicly just yet. But I was just really proud with that dumb look on her face. So okay, that's it. So yeah, I have been trying to figure out. Well, I don't know. I might as well just. Okay, everybody listening, don't consider this like an official announcement because I'm not putting this like in my email updates or whatever. I'm not going to say that this is for sure happening until I know it's close enough to done that I could feel confident about it. But my goal is like this animatic, which is like, I guess if I add credits to it, like it would be like 9 minutes long, let's say. My goal is to have it done so that I will world premiere it, even if it's still rough, world premiere it at my concert at MarsCon.
Cool.
Because I want everyone. I want an audience of the people. I mean, I realize this is it's kind of a loaded thing. These are like my friends and my fans and stuff like that, and the MarsCon audience that tends to like the things that I do. But to me, that makes it all the more important. I want to make sure that I'm doing something that the people who already like my stuff think like, oh yeah, this is, we see what Luke's trying to do here with these characters and this bit and blah, blah, blah. So that's my goal, is that I want to have this finished. I mean, obviously I'm going to perform songs during my set, but I'm basically kind of viewing it like, whatever, like, 10 minutes of songs, then the animatic, and then another 10 minutes of songs, like whatever, however it works out. I mean, obviously I'm going to perform like, Lower Decks Keep It Moving because I wasn't there to perform it last year. So, and I'll figure out the other stuff I'm going to do. So I may not come up with new songs, but this, like I'm putting all my effort into the new thing I'm going to do to present at MarsCon is going to be this, because I want to start taking this I want to get this ready enough that I can either put it on YouTube and share it with the world, and or have it ready to like show to studio so that I can start pitching this show to places and have this be my proof of concept scene, not a pilot, but just a proof of concept scene with these two characters and a third one that shows up part of the way through. So, so that's my goal. I've been wanting to do this for like the past, 4 MarsCon since I recorded this stuff whenever it was back in 2021 or 2020. I can't even remember at this point. It's been so friggin' long, but I want to get, put the hammer down and get this done. So the main thing keeping me from getting it done is this new stupid job that I have. So, because I get home from work and I'm exhausted and it's hard for me to, it's like, unless I, get myself on the cocaine or something, I don't know how I'm going to be able to.
I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
We'll need another job to pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other idea is to go to bed early and set an alarm to wake up early and work on it for 2 or 3 hours a day before I go to work, before I get tired. But the instant I had that idea and thought I'm going to go through with it, that was when they decided to change my schedule to have me start at 9:30 instead of 11:30 for like 4 days in a row. So that's how frustrating things can be. So, but anyway, but it's like I got another, like that image I just showed everybody, like I managed to get that boarded. So like that's another, not enough to jump up another percentage point, but it was enough to get me to the next part where I could start laying in the next things for the next like 10 seconds worth of boarding. So I'm like, okay, I've got that, it's the basic stuff is laid out in there. Now, so the next time I can actually sit down and work on stuff, I'll be able to barrel through the next 10 seconds worth of stuff, fairly easily. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I just need to come up with a plan that will work where I can, like I said, that I'm going to try. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. But with this job, trying to do it at night isn't going to work. I'm going to be too tired. So I'm going to have to force myself to come up with some kind of game plan. Maybe I'll start drinking coffee. I don't know. Where I get up in the morning, take a shower, get everything ready for work, have something to eat, have some coffee or some caffeine or something, and then be like, okay, now I'm going to sit down and work on this board for 2 hours or whatever until I have to leave for work to make sure I'm not late for work. So that's the big thing going on with me that I'm trying to wrap my head around and get myself to do. But I have tomorrow off, but I'm going to Irvine because I swear this is the last thing I'll mention. So my bathtub / shower in my, is, I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it's like they spray it or they paint it with some kind of coating that like once every year or so they have to respray it because like it starts peeling off or whatever, because I guess it protects the tub underneath. But I don't think it's like porcelain or anything. I think it's just some crappy plastic or some other material type tub. So like basically once a year they'll say like, oh, you have to get you and all of your animals out of the house because it's going to be too toxic to breathe inside the apartment, for X number of hours during the day we're doing this thing. So the last time I did that, I had to put Cubert in a boarding facility, and it was a huge pain in the butt, and I believe that was, well, anyway, so the fact is I asked for that Friday off, and then I found out from my landlord, oh, this is the day they're doing that thing. So instead of me getting to be at home where the computer is and work on my animatic, I have to take the cat and go to Irvine, but not before I take the snake over to Lindsay's so that Lindsay can be a snake sitter for a couple of days, which basically involves, here's a big plastic bin with a snake in it, just put it over there, and I'll be back in 2 days to get it. So, it's fine. It's all fine. Star-Lord will be fine. So, anyway. What have you been up to, Mr. Devo Spice?
Lots of stuff. I actually wrote a song the other day.
Excellent.
Because I'm working on music again for the first time in a very long time.
Is the song ridiculous?
It is, in fact, ridiculous. Although, actually, this idea, when it came through, I was like, that's not too ridiculous. That's actually quite good. That's like a good idea. So I was like torn as to whether or not I should do it because it was a good idea, not a ridiculous idea.
I mean, that's a marvelous ponder you had there.
Oh, God damn it. Yes, it was. And actually, I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to take multiple ideas of that have come in and do multiple songs. So there will be a couple songs coming out of this project. I talk about that in more detail on this week's edition of The Insider. So I don't want to get too far into it just now because it is a little premature. But yeah, there's probably going to be multiple songs coming out of this round. I didn't do anything fun for Halloween, or at least not Halloween related, because Darren had a swim meet. So we drove down to Montclair and watched him swim. And then we took him out to dinner for a belated birthday dinner. And we went to Applebee's, and when it was Halloween, so like the entire staff was dressed up, and like half the customers were dressed up. So it was pretty cool. Yesterday, one of my friends in we have this group chat from the actors at my school. One of them was like, "Hey, anybody want to go see a movie?" And because she's been trying to get these like group movie outings going. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm down. You know, I'm free like today and Friday. I can't do Thursday, and the weekend is up in the air." And she was like, "Well, let's go today," meaning yesterday. And she wanted to go see Black Phone 2. And I was like, "Sure," but I was like, "I haven't seen Black Phone 1," so I looked it up, and it's streaming for free on Fandango. If anyone wants to watch it, I mean, it's interrupted periodically by commercials, but it's not too obnoxious. So I was like, "All right, I can probably squeeze this in before we leave for the movie." So I watched Black Phone, and then I left to go see Black Phone 2. Really enjoyed both films. Black Phone takes place in 1978, and I realized the reason it had to take place in 1978 is because one of the characters is a, working class guy who owns 2 houses, and there's no way in hell that would happen today. So, and then Black Phone 2, we're watching the film. We're like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, and then the power goes out, and like the emergency lights come on, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." And then after like a minute, the power came back on, but the projector didn't. So we're all sitting there. The theater was actually fairly crowded, and like I'm looking around, and I'm like, yeah, these projectors are all computerized now. Like, there's nobody up there. So, like, they may not even know that it's not on. So, like, let me go find somebody. So I went out to the front desk, and they were, making the rounds because obviously they knew there was a power failure. So what they told me was they were not going to turn the projector back on and just tell everybody to come out and get vouchers for, so they can come back. And I was like, well, that's disappointing, but whatever. So I go back into the theater, and I kind of announce to the, 50 or so people who were there, what she told me, and everybody kind of filed out, and we got our vouchers. And like right after we got our vouchers, the manager came by and said, "Yeah, we're actually turning all the projectors back on, so if you want to head back to the theater, you can catch the rest of the movie." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So we went back to the theater. Me and my friends were the only ones who went back to the theater. Everybody else had left. So we got to see the end of the movie. Unfortunately, we missed about a 5-minute chunk in between there. So I had to go to Reddit and ask people what happened during that chunk. But it's a good film. Otherwise, I got to try to find that missing clip of the film. Other than that, I've been working on the FuMP Volume 113, trying to get that done so we can get that out. And this past weekend, I went to a local film festival that a bunch of my friends had movies in, or were acting in. I wasn't in anything this time. This was strictly a, support the school, support my friends in the acting biz, and just have some fun. And that's about it for what's going on here. So, Drew, what have you been up to?
All kinds of stuff. Been very busy. It was a busy summer. I did a lot of playing out. I do a ukulele thing at nursing homes and assisted living and adult senior apartments and things like that. And that keeps me pretty busy. But this year I also added I've been working on a a set list to play out of my own stuff, which I've been doing this past summer, of not just my own stuff, but also covers of humorous songs or funny songs or stuff from the 70s and 60s and 50s. I mean, I've done Beep Beep. Usually I get somebody from the audience to play the horn at the right time, beep 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 beep, and things like that. So I'm trying to develop a 2-hour set list that I can play. Happy hours, and I've done some farmers markets and
interesting
things of that nature.
Cool.
And so that's been a lot of fun. And then on top of that, in August I was out in Nashville at a songwriters workshop, and I went out a couple of days early and booked a studio to record what came out on Tuesday on the FuMP, the Greatest Superpower of Mine. So it was kind of a bucket list opportunity to actually record in Nashville with real Nashville musicians, and it was a real blast. It was very exciting.
Was Steve Goody involved?
No, Steve was not. Steve was in Scotland.
Oh, that's right. August, yeah.
Yeah, and actually I saw Steve. I guess it was in July, the day before Weird Al played here, because Steve had his show coming through town, and I opened for him there at Mopco in Schenectady, which is a small theater, an improv theater in Schenectady. So we got to hang out, and he said, "Well, next time you're in Nashville and I'm there, let's try and get something together." And I'm actually going back in February, so
cool. He should be there. I don't think he would have a reason to go to Scotland in February, but
not
maybe.
in February. No, if he knows what's good for him, he won't. So that's been exciting, and I'm out plugging this new song and playing around, and of course I printed up, because nobody buys CDs anymore. I printed up some CDs, and of course Devo.
I was going to say I printed up some CDs.
Right, I paid you to print up CDs.
Yes.
And I highly recommend them. I highly recommend. Devo does a great job.
Thank you.
At a great price. If you're,
I also have partaken of his business.
Good. So and as you guys well know, probably better than anybody, nobody buys CDs anymore.
Yep.
So what I also did was I printed up a limited number of CDs, but I also printed up. I said to myself, I had a marvelous ponder. And said, what does everybody need? What can I give out that everybody needs? And I came out with the Greatest Superpower of Mine, cap snafflers. Because every kitchen, cap snafflers, jar openers.
Oh, I've never heard that word or anything remotely close to it before.
Cap snafflers. They used to sell them. Ronco used to sell them on TV. I'm dating myself, I guess, but you could probably find the commercial on YouTube for the Ronco cap snaffler. It's a jar opener, ladies and gentlemen. So and everybody needs one of those. So let me take this opportunity to say, if you're interested in getting one for free, absolutely free, no salesman will call, there's nothing to buy, go to my website and email me, or you don't even have to go to the website, just email me, drew@drewjacobs.com with your address, and we've got a limited supply of them. I'd be more than happy to send out cap snafflers to those folks who are interested. Drew@drewjacobs.com, just like it says right there at the bottom of the jar opener. So little bit of marketing there. So besides all that, doing some writing and looking forward to spending the winter doing some recording of some of the stuff I've written, and then actually going back to Nashville in February to do a performance workshop with Susie Boggess. Susie Boggess was is a singer-songwriter, country singer-songwriter, had a lot of hits in the 80s and 90s, and she's terrific and does a terrific workshop there, right there in Nashville. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. And you and Steve Goody can get together in February.
Yeah,
Figure something
hope
out.
so. We'll have to figure something out. Absolutely, look forward to doing that.
So cool. So give us a quick intro to this song, and we will give it a listen.
Okay, let's see. I actually wrote the song last year. And, usually when I write a song, I play it out a bunch of times and refine it and work with it. I was actually at a songwriter's workshop last year and worked with Beth Nielsen Chapman, who's also a singer-songwriter, has had a lot of hits and performed by other folks. And I played it for her, and she had some suggestions that were great. So I kind of fine-tuned it based on what she told me. And then kind of played it out for the last year up to recording it back in August. And then and so what I've been playing out is slightly different than what we actually recorded, just from the standpoint of the arranger said to me, what do you what's the feel? What do you want to do? I said, I want like a country pop sound, something fairly current. He says, well, what you recorded, I gave him a demo. He says, well, that's not really it, but how about we do it this way? And so he played a little something. I said, perfect. So we went to the studio. I went to the studio. They had musicians there. They said, hit it. First take. They nail it. Like the professionals. I mean, it's factory work. They do this every day, but they nail it. They go, what do you think? I go, what do I think? It's great. Even I sound good, So from there, we go in and they fine tune it and add different parts and overdub a bunch of stuff. And then I go in and re-record my vocals and background vocals. And in 4 hours, you got a complete song, ready to go. So it was a lot of fun. It was exciting. And I'm really proud of the way it came out.
All right, well, here is The Greatest Superpower of Mine by Drew Jacobs.
I may look like a regular guy, I don't stand out from the rest, but there are things I can do, things that'll leave you impressed. Mad skills, they say I've got, talents of a certain kind. I only hope that you appreciate these superpowers of mine. These superpowers of mine. Well, I'm not a crime fighter who wears a cape or saves a kitten up in a tree. I'm not on the front lines risking life and limb. I tell you, baby, that's not me. No, I'm no hero that's understood, not by chance or by design. I'll tell you the ways that I invoke these superpowers of mine. These superpowers of mine. I can manicure the lawn like the green at Pebble Beach. I can grab the laundry soap from the shelf you can't reach. I'll make a vegetable lasagna with a salad for two. I'll sing the Johnny Cash song about a boy named Sue. But getting you to love me, you're gonna find is the greatest superpower of mine. It's the greatest superpower of mine. Getting you to love me. Getting you to love me. Getting you to love me, you're gonna find is the greatest superpower of mine. It's the greatest superpower of mine. Superman, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Thor. What do I need all those muscles for? Batman, Iron They're all better looking except for the Hulk. Wolverine, Aquaman, they be fine, but they don't have these superpowers of mine. They don't have these superpowers of mine. 'Cause I can manicure the lawn like the green at Pebble Beach. I can grab the laundry soap from the shelf you can't reach. I'll make a vegetable lasagna with a salad for two. I'll sing the Johnny Cash song about a boy named Sue. But getting you to love me, you're gonna find, is the greatest superpower of mine. It's the greatest superpower of mine. Getting you to love me. 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 Getting you to love me, you're gonna find it's the greatest superpower of mine. It's the greatest superpower of mine.
So did you write this at one of those workshops, or did you have it ready before you went to the workshop?
I had it ready before I went to the workshop. You know, the idea was, you know, we were talking about, I was thinking about superpowers. I said, well, what if you'd had, you know, just the lamest superpowers, you know? And what would those be? And so it kind of grew from there. And then just in terms of writing and rewriting, and all of a sudden, and, you know, I came up with the idea of getting you to love me was the greatest superpower of mine. And I went, oh, that's pretty good for me.
Yeah, see, I'm just totally jaded by, you know, where I expect comedy to go. And when this song came through, I was listening to it. I'm like, it's funny, but I'm like, that's also kind of sweet. And meanwhile, I was expecting it to take a dark turn, and it never did, which was kind of a refreshing change, to be honest.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's about the most commercial song that I've ever done, and so that's partially what I'm excited about. I actually did send it to a song plugger in Nashville, and they came back and said no. No thanks.
Yeah, it's still comedy,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, you know, and that's it. You know, any time, and I do it every once in a while. I'll send stuff out to get critiqued, and 9 times out of 10 they don't understand comedy, music, and they don't understand, you know, why something is funny, and say, oh, those words don't work right. Exactly, you know, they're not supposed to work right, and so, but that's okay. We just keep plugging away at it.
See, this line is the setup, and then you go into the chorus, and that's the punchline. Ooh.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, but that's okay. That's okay. So, you know, I'm still going to plug it around, and I've entered it into some songwriting contests.
Oh,
so
cool.
We'll see what happens with it. You know. But
cool,
I'm I appreciate it. And like I said, I mean, it sounds, you know, it's the best sounding thing I've ever done. You know, what usually happens and happened this time, they record it, you mix it, master it. The engineer says, you know, listen to it for a couple of days and see what you want to change. And if there's anything that you want to change, we can tweak it. And so I listened to it and I went, well, I could do this, or I said, you know what, let's just leave it. You know, these guys are the professionals, they know what they're doing, it's fine the way it is.
Meanwhile, you're like, you know what this needs? A tuba.
Yeah. Well, I've got the track, you know, I could add a tuba.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want it.
The greatest superpower of mine. Boom. You know, you could have done that.
I could do it as a march. We could do it as a march. Yeah, maybe that might work. I'll grab my tuba. Hold on.
So you had me print up those CDs, which are basically CD singles, because it only has the one song on them.
Yeah.
What are you doing with those? Are you sending those to radio stations or what?
I've sent out a couple of radio stations, also, personal appearances. If anybody, as I always say, if anybody still has a CD player, or any skeet shooters out there, by all
I was
means.
wondering, like, if you were trying to sell them, because I'm like, the market for like CD albums is really small right now. I'm like, I can't imagine the market for CD singles is anything at all.
No, it isn't. It's to me, it's just a way to get the music out there. I also printed up download cards, that tell people where.
Yeah.
I mean, you can download it, of course, from the FuMP, but you can also get it on iTunes or Amazon or wherever you want to download from, Spotify, all that stuff. To me, it's just it's an investment to try and get the music out there and hopefully give somebody a chuckle, here and there. So
just to be clear, I'm not trying to discourage you from hiring me to make future CDs. I'm just wondering what you were doing with them. That's all.
They're also great if your table is a little wobbly on one leg. You can take 3 or 4 of them and it evens it out pretty good too. So, but the artwork for the cover was my idea. I hired an artist to put it all together, and she did a great job.
Yeah, it was very cool artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed putting it together with her, and like I said, I gave her the idea. I'm not an artist at all. Here's what I'm thinking. Boom, and she was pretty close on the first pass. It was just little minor things that I changed with it, but it came out great. I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah, looked very cool. I had that up on the screen while we were playing the video.
Yep, saw that. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody listening to it, and I appreciate as always being on here on FuMPCast and being a small part of the FuMP.
I just blanked. I was going to ask you something, and I just brain just shut off entirely.
That's all right. You're among friends.
It happens. So what else you have going on?
Boy, let me think. Well, coming up, if anybody's in the Albany, New York area, let me get my schedule out in front of me here. Hold on, I got it. Oh, I had it. Oh, there it is. I am. Organization is the key with me, as you can tell.
Clearly.
If you're somewhere near Delmar, New York, which is here in upstate, it's a suburb of Albany. I'm at the Delmar Farmers Market next Saturday, November 15th at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, playing music, 9 to 11 at the Farmers Market. In last Farmers Market I played, they gave me 6 ears of corn, which was, unfortunately the Indians that own the beverage center where I go don't accept corn as legal tender.
I mean, that's almost $2 worth of corn. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited to see what these folks pay me. And then this is real cool. On November 22nd, which is also a Saturday at 2 o'clock, I'm doing a stand-up set with a program called the Swamp Lily Charity event, which is a charity show, actually going to be at MOPCO, which is the same place that Steve Goody did his show here in Schenectady. So I'll be doing a 15-minute stand-up set of comedy as part of that, and it's for a good cause. It's all the money goes to charity.
Cool.
And so if you're in the area, by all means, check it out. That's November 22nd at 2 o'clock.
Now, when you do a stand-up show, do you do any music at all, or is it just straight stand-up?
It kind of depends on the length of the set. for 15 minutes. The Swamp Lily show is a lot of music, and it's sort of like the Garrison Keillor, like Wobegon. Where there's music, there's some comedy, and I'm providing the comedy. So for a 15 minutes set, I don't need to pad it with music because they've got other musicians, and I've got more than enough material that I can do for 15 minutes and kill 15 minutes a time. So that'll work out fine. And I'm excited to do it. I just did a show a couple weeks ago that I did 30 minutes, and for that I opened with a couple of songs and then closed with Everybody Hates the Baby, which is become sort of my closing song.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's the way. Like I say, it depends on the length of the set and what I'm doing. So sometimes I will, and sometimes I won't. This was specifically just stand up.
Cool. All right. So, do you have anything you'd like to plug that you didn't just plug?
Well, I mean, if you go to my website, drewjacobs.com, you can find all that information. You can find links to download or go to Bandcamp or the FuMP and listen and download my music. And always appreciate that. And that's about it. Just looking forward to getting into the holiday spirit sooner or later. And I'll be raking leaves on Saturday. If anybody wants to come to beautiful Albany and help me rake my leaves, that would be terrific. That's all I got.
All righty. We're going to move on to tour dates or news and the second song. Are you going to stick around or are you taking off?
I'm going to stick around.
Okay, then. Let's do some news. Wait a minute. Wow, I am like really tired all of a sudden. That's why my brain shut off because like I'm out of it. All right, so song one and promo. That's what I want.
This is the FuMP.
I was requesting fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Hello, mudda, big fat butterfingers, Irving is dead. Does it come loose flavor on the post of your bed? Well then don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented.
You may have seen the Ramones back in 79. You may have seen Anthrax before they were signed, but I was in the Weird Al Bit and Riot Fest. You may have seen the Rolling Stones when they rocked those place. You may have seen Ozzy take a bat to the face, but I was in the Weird Al Bit and Riot Fest.
Oh, everything hurts and I'm dying.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Everything hurts and I'm dying. La-di-da-da-di-da.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, Psychostick is now accepting pre-orders for a new holiday album, The Flesh-Eating Roller Skates Rides Again. As they say, we took the 2007 Holiday Joyride album and remixed the original songs, then we remastered the subsequent holiday songs like Zombie Claus and Noel, plus the album has 2 new songs. If you pre-order it now, you will get a digital download of one of the new songs, which is called 8, and that's spelled... Somebody tell me what this character is called. It's the slanted capital A with the E attached to it, and then the letter T. So it looks like AET, but it's some weird phenom from some other like language and the letter T. It's a Tool parody, and there is a video for it up on YouTube. Good luck Googling that one. The other new song is called Everybody Christmas, which I haven't heard yet, but I'm wondering how much it will sound like Worm Quartet's We Do at Christmas, but we'll see. Pre-order now at Psychostick.com, and they're having a CD release show at the Cubby Bear in Chicago on December 5th. And that's actually going to be a double CD release show because they are also releasing on that date the Toxic Crusaders soundtrack, which they have been working on for the past couple of years. That's going to be coming out December 4th. There's no pre-orders available for that one. It's just going to come out on December 4th on all the platforms, and I believe it will be available on CD. All that info at psychostick.com. And the first part of Richard Cheese's new book is now available. Grateful, 25 Years of Music, Movies, and Medical Emergencies with Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine. Part 1, Stranger in a Strange Lounge, is now available and includes a special guest chapter by Weird Al Yankovic. Hardcovers and autographed options are available at grateful.richardcheese.com, and there's also a soundtrack album available with unreleased demos, bootlegs, and rarities. All that info at richardcheese.com. All right, that's all I got for news. You guys got anything before tour dates?
Nope. The only thing I just noticed was I had been planning to send off a Lukeski update tomorrow because I figured, it's first Friday in November. It's Bandcamp Friday. I'll send that off and see if I can drum up some sales. And then I went and Googled it, and apparently, no, it's not. Apparently, there is no Bandcamp Friday in the month of November. There was one.
Yeah,
last
they don't
month,
do it. They don't do it
month.
every month. It's. I don't know what the determining factor is, but it's not every month. The next Bandcamp Friday is the first Friday in December, which I think is the 5th.
Yeah. So that was strange, but anyway, just wanted to mention that.
All right, tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, 2 Sleeps. The last Sunday of each month on Facebook, Lauren Mayer. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Wednesdays in San Francisco, California, Ben Vicini. The 7th through 9th in Albany, New York, Carla Ulbrich. On the 8th in Marquette, Michigan, Bussy. On the 8th in New Orleans, Louisiana, the Consortium of Genius. On the 8th in Beacon, New York, Carla Ulbrich. On the 9th in YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. On the 12th in New York, David W. Jacobson. The 14th and 15th in Annapolis, Maryland, Bussy. On the 15th in Houston, Texas, Consortium of Genius. On the 15th in Staten Island, New York, Devo Spice. I can't read my own name. On the 15th in Lawrence Township, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. On the 16th in Tacoma, Washington, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. And on the 17th in Portland, Oregon, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. Lots of shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. All right. Second song of the week is the song that Joe J. Thomas posted on Halloween. Here is Vintage Horror.
Gentlemen, welcome. Bella, Peter, Boris. So glad you could all make it back. Lugosi, don't tell me you're going to sing too.
What's the matter, Karloff? Don't you like torture?
All right, settle down, everyone. Peter, why don't you get us started with the drums? I didn't come back from the dead just to be Ringo. All right, Peter, calm yourself. You'll be more like Phil Collins, okay? Well, all right, I guess. Boris, you're on bass.
I'm down with that, Vinny.
Get to your instruments, all, and let's knock this out so we can all go back to our final resting places.
It's been a while since we've been here.
To play upon your darkest fears.
From catacombs and out the ground.
We've got the soul for getting down.
Fire, fire. A messy death by rope or knives.
You're struggling to stay alive.
From poisoned tea or drowning lake.
Your soul may rot in hell to bake.
We've traveled from beyond the veil
with clammy hands and ghostly tales. The time has come for you to scream.
You're not awakened from this dream.
You see the signs, it isn't good.
No friendly face in this neighborhood.
Grisly ghouls claw at your doors.
A nightly terror of ghastly horrors.
From underground and outer space.
There's nowhere safe, no happy place.
Wraiths and creepers at your home.
We'll never stop until you're gone.
We've traveled from beyond the veil with clammy hands and ghostly face.
The time has come for you to scream. You'll not awaken from this dream.
Still in the morning, all seems well. A nightmare only truth to tell.
But daylight doesn't last so long that you'll escape this eerie song.
Go have your breakfast, lunch, and sup. Late in the evening will wake you up.
The whole thing will begin anew. We're on our way to sing to you.
Hello? Am I too late?
No one here. Time for go to bed.
Norman? Is that man Tor here again? What have I told you?
Uh-oh.
I am here with Joe J. Thomas. How you doing, Joe?
Hello, hello. Doing good.
So tell us about vintage horror.
Well, it started out with a website that I subscribe to that teaches piano. Actually, I joined it to teach piano, or to learn piano, called Pianote. And it's part of this larger group called Musora, and they teach piano, guitar, drums, everything. So, and voice. And so I was on there for a while, and they had regular contests. And one of them was, hey, why don't you write a Halloween-themed song? And it has to be original. And I'm thinking, I don't really do original songs. So I ended up delving into GarageBand and picking out tracks and songs and a drum kit and a bunch of other things, and managed to put together like the backing track. And I went, well, this sounds kind of like rap, which I also don't do. And so I'm thinking, okay, horror. I do horror voices like since I was a kid. I think I started with Boris Karloff because he wasn't too hard, and then worked in like Lugosi. He wasn't too hard. Vincent Price was my last because his voice is really distinctive.
Yeah.
But I've used him for other projects and stuff. Peter Lorre. Like that. So I put them together and made him sing, and originally it was called Golden Horror, but I thought that probably had the wrong connotation.
Yeah, I could see that going sideways.
Yeah, I didn't think that was so. So I changed that to Vintage and put a little tag on the front, tag on the back, made a little story. But it didn't win the contest, by the way. It came out like last year on their site. And I'm thinking, well, this is FuMP material because it's got a little bit of everything in it.
So you're doing voices for Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, Vincent Price, Bela Lugosi, Anthony Perkins, and Tor Johnson. Who's Tor Johnson? He's the only one I'm not familiar with.
He was in a lot of older films like Plan 9 from Outer Space. He's this gigantic. He used to be a wrestler in some Baltic country. I can't remember which one. He's got a bald head and this really mean-looking face, and he speaks English, but they always gave him lines that sounded like he didn't know how to speak English. So
okay, yeah, I'm looking at him. I do recognize him from.
Yeah, and so one of the lines that Mystery Science Theater always makes fun of is he comes in and he's Bela Lugosi's servant, and he's like, "Tell them it's time to go to bed," and he's like,
Time for go to bed.
Oh, Tor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always like the invincible muscle guy who ends up getting killed by a giant octopus or a lobster or something like that.
Yeah. I was just mentioning on online somewhere that last year my wife got me recreations of the vintage movie posters, so like Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Invisible Man. We have 8 of them, and they're in our foyer upstairs, and I love them. Wow. And like ever since I got them, I'm like, okay, I want to rewatch all of these movies. I think I've seen them all. I know I've seen Frankenstein, Dracula, and The Mummy. I'm not sure if I know. I'm pretty sure I've seen Bride of Frankenstein. I'm pretty sure I've seen The Invisible Man. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the original Creature from the Black Lagoon. I may have missed that one.
Yeah.
But so I want to like figure out like what came out when and watch them in release order again. So I figured I might be doing that for this Halloween, but I only have a couple days left. So
yeah, I think Lugosi was in one of the either the first Wolfman or the remake or the follow up or sequel or whatever, because I remember him talking to the guy who turns into the Wolfman, and I think his name was Bateman, and it's just the way he said it, Bateman. Bateman, you know, and I think that was where his line came from. I tried to pick lines that they each said in something. So, like his was, "What's the matter? Don't you like torture?" And yeah, so
yeah, good one.
Price's was the one about grisly ghouls from Thriller,
right?
Yeah. That was,
Did you pull anything from Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein? Because that's probably my favorite of the classic films. But
I don't think so. But I do know a little bit of trivia because after Karloff was Frankenstein, I think all the other films are an actor named Glenn Strange, who was in like cowboy films and a bunch of other stuff. But after that, they just put him in the Frankenstein makeup, and he did like Bride of Frankenstein and Son of Frankenstein. He probably did the Abbott and Costello one too.
Yeah, he did. Boris Karloff was in, and so was Bela Lugosi, and Lon Chaney. Actually, we're all in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. They like pulled out all the stuff. Now, of course, because of the studio system back then, they owned all those actors. So we're like, hey, you're going to be in this film now, and they just
no.
You know, it was much easier to pull an Avengers back in the 1940s than it is now.
Do you remember the Ed Wood? There was an Ed Wood film called The Raven.
I don't think I ever saw that. I've heard of it.
Yeah, you should look that one up because that one, I think it's on Amazon Prime. That has like Peter Lorre and Vincent Price and Boris Karloff and a bunch of other. And I think Peter Lorre partway through gets turned into a raven, and so they just have a raven and it's got Peter Lorre's voice, and then. Vincent Price manages to kind of turn him back, except he's just got his head and his body is like a giant raven-sized body. And he's like,
"Why did you dress? Why do I look like this? Why can't you put my body back?"
Nice. Yeah, I definitely haven't seen that, but that sounds good.
It's an Ed Wood picture.
Yeah.
So it's very campy, schlocky kind of.
So so your song didn't win, but did they appreciate it at least?
Oh yeah, they liked it, and I gave them a heads up that it's going to be on the FuMP, and they're like, "Oh, repost it, so it'll get reposted there." And they've got like a Discord and Musora has their own website and stuff. So
nice.
I'll post it around there and see what people think. But
right,
because there's some pretty good musicians on there. There are people who are way past me. They play piano and drums and guitar and sing, and I'm mostly a singer with piano learning capability.
Very cool.
I can't remember. Do you play an instrument?
I'm actually I play a little keyboard, like enough to get the song done type, you know. I played trumpet when I was a kid. I can bang out a beat on a drum.
Oh.
I can't, like, I'm not fancy on drums, but I can do I'm a rapper. I have rhythm, you know. I can do I can do a basic drum beat. That's about it. I did play accordion on one song, but like right hand only, you know, type thing.
That's where I'm at on piano. It's mostly one hand, and then the other hand comes in for chords occasionally.
I've actually been considering like taking piano lessons online somewhere, just to like get my brain back into doing music because I haven't done anything in so long.
Yeah,
and just to like sit down and be able to play something. I want to be able to do that.
I looked at a bunch of apps and a bunch of training sites, and I ended up on the Musora thing just because they have video lessons, and then they also have like things where you can submit your video to one of the teachers and they'll review it and tell you what to practice and what to work on. So it's kind of a hybrid. It's not quite a in-person teacher, but it's not bad.
I'm looking at their website now.
Yeah,
I may sign up for this. This sounds pretty cool.
They wait for a special because they run specials occasionally where it's some percentage off. Or they had one last a couple months ago where you pay for 2 years up front and they send you a keyboard.
Really?
like an 88 key keyboard, and I'm like, okay.
Can you ship it to Spain?
Yeah. I thought about it, but I ended up, I've got a keyboard. So
yeah.
I ended up doing that, and then my wife's like, and we're donating it for the tax write-off. Because I don't need an 88 key. It was massive. I didn't realize how big 88 keyboards are. Because I've got like a little 61.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, what I can do is I'll sign up for the 7-day free trial and then cancel, and then they'll send me a coupon, and then I'll get in. So
they will, definitely.
All right, cool. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I can't.
You can't. Of course you can't.
Just joesdump.com. The usual. And other stuff is coming out, which I will not be able to tell you about.
All right. Well, hopefully someday I'll be in that position where I'll have stuff coming out that I can't talk about. So nothing yet, but maybe. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will catch you next time.
Cool. Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
I forgot to unmute myself. Feedback. I unmuted you guys. I forgot to unmute me. Alvarant wrote, on the Halloween playlist, Haywood Banks' song is 3 minutes 36 seconds. That's 216 seconds, which is 6 times 6 times 6 seconds. Coincidence? I don't know, actually. You'd have to ask Haywood. I was originally thinking, yeah, it's probably a coincidence, but then I realized it's a Halloween song. He may have actually done that on purpose. So I don't know. You have to ask him. And...
For who could ever learn to love a beast?
Father Beast wrote, when I first saw the title of the Via Bella song, I thought it was another version of the one recently posted by Steve Goody. Well, different songs, but same idea. Both of these songs express the idea that I've been telling people for years. One of the great blessings about getting old is that everything hurts all the time. You don't have to live in fear of the question, am I going to hurt today? Because the answer is always yes. So you can dismiss the fears and get on with your day. Thank you, Father Beast. Such a positive outlook on things. And over on YouTube. A-Log!
Oh my god, it's you, not again!
A-Log wrote, I don't know which is sadder, an entire album's worth of songs charting in the Hot 100 thanks to Spotify, or Spotify allowing AI music to run amok without a care in the world. AI. Definitely AI.
Yes.
All right. That's it for feedback.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a jingle.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is by Lauren Mayer.
Hooray!
And
Tuesday song is not yet posted.
So we'll see what happens for Tuesday. All right, I need a topic for this week's Spotify playlist. Drew, got any ideas? Something I can make like a 30-minute playlist out of.
You put me on the spot, boss.
I recently did farts. Last week I did Halloween.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I have no idea. Fall? I mean, that's pretty lame.
Is your song "Greatest Superpower of Mine" on Spotify?
Yes.
I'll do Superpowers then.
Superpower. I love it.
I will play that.
That's a marvelous ponder.
Yes.
Damn it.
Or maybe not.
Or
you guys always say it when I'm like not ready to push the button.
Or it's a DC-ist ponder. Get it,
Marvel? All right. All right.
Just a reminder, Insanian literally has a song called Superpowers.
Yes, I know. That was the second song that popped into my head.
Yes.
You gonna say something?
No. I thought so. I thought of a song that had superpowers in the title. Then I realized it was actually superhero, and it doesn't really quite fit in. And never mind. So
okay. All right. So Joe J. Thomas is at joesdump.com. Drew, plug yourself one more time.
DrewJacobs.com. DrewJacobs.com.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski. And look, there's Drew Jacobs. Say something, Drew.
Hello. Goodbye. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
a butt steak, big and good, hot and spicy, sweet and meaty.